Welcome, welcome, welcome to Friday in the kitchen. Hey, hello, Gloria. We missed you for 2 weeks. Yay. And Helene and Kathy and Pamela. And is that
I don't think that's Patricia.
Patricia,
Actually, I don't
maybe?
think it is.
Somebody? Sherry and Julia. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad to have you all here with me today. And today is all about Brussels sprouts. Yay! I love Brussels sprouts. Now, when I was a girl, not so much. And even I said to my mom, I love Brussels sprouts, and she's like, "Ooh, I don't like them." But then I made them for her my way, and she changed her mind. Because what happens with Brussels sprouts is if you cook them, boil them in water, which is the way people did it way back when I was a kid, it gets mushy, it gets overcooked, and it starts having this sulfury smell and bitter taste to it, and nobody likes it. And when my kids were little, they used to watch Franklin the turtle, and Franklin lost his blanket of all things. They couldn't find it, and where was it? Finally, they found it under his seat on his chair in the kitchen at the kitchen table, the dining table, because he hid his Brussels sprouts in it. So I never forget that. I thought that was so cute. All right, now, so we're not boiling Brussels sprouts. We have three ways that we're going to make them. I guess I decided to be high achieving here. We're going to saute them in a pan. So I've got my pan here to saute, and I also have my another pan here that we're going to put another batch in. And what we're going to do to start with, I got to move some of my stuff. I got a lot of stuff today. I can't believe how much stuff I accumulate in this stuff. All right. So I'm going to heat the pans up on the stove here. So especially when you're dealing with this is stainless steel. This one is ceramic. So I'm going to use the stainless steel one to do Brussels sprouts. I cut them in half. So I have two Brussels sprouts. Let me get the temperature going. So I'm turning on the oven. The ceramic pan I'm turning on to about medium. And I'm going a little higher with the kind of a medium high for the stainless steel pan. And so things stick to stainless steel when the pan isn't hot. That's one of the things with stainless steel. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'll show you, I have vegetable broth here. You can use water if you want, and that's going to help to keep it from burning. For the sauteed, so I'm going to take I've cut the Brussels sprouts in half, and I'm going to put them in the stainless steel pan, the face down on the stainless steel, and let them get a coating, kind of crisp up a little bit or get a little bit browned on that side. And then I'm going to add some broth, and we're going to steam them from there. For the sauteed ones, I've cut the Brussels sprouts into like 1/4 inch strips. So I took one Brussels sprout, and I usually cut it into 4 pieces. A big one you can get 5, but it's about 1/4 inch. We're going to just saute those. I'm going to use a little bit of oil, and then we're going to saute those. Now for oil, I'm going to use my extra virgin olive oil for cooking. I'm going to just put a little bit in the pan so it gets warm here. And then we'll be able to add our Brussels sprouts to that. So your extra virgin olive oil is really, if you're going to use oil, this is the one that's recommended. You can go without oil as well. So they're not quite hot enough. The way you can tell if it's hot enough is actually by putting a splash of water. And it might be getting there. Okay. Let me see if I can turn on my little camera, overhead camera for you, so you can actually see what's going on. Okay, let's see. My camera. All right. So when you put a little bit of water on, it should evaporate right away. You can see I just splashed a little bit of water. So what I'm going to do for this pan is just put the Brussels sprouts on. It's actually you can hear the little sear. So we're going to do that for a couple minutes. Little one. So we're going to let those sear for a little minute here. And on my other pan, I'm going to add the Brussels sprouts to the pan. I just add them in. Let me see if I can show you. I got to go between the two today. Woohoo! So those are just kind of resting there, and then in a minute I'll put a little bit of broth in. And then I just put these in the pan. There was a little bit of oil. Always with ceramic, you want to use, don't want to use any steel on that. So I've got this is my favorite spoon. It's kind of like a rubbery spoon. I guess it's silicone. So we're just going to let it sit for a bit, and then it's going to get a little bit of browning on it, which is great. And our other Brussels sprouts are starting to get some brown on them. So just going to let that. You can see they're already starting to sweat here. A little bit of the oil. Yum! And then I'm just going to turn it back here. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to, they're starting to sear a little bit on the end. I don't want them to get too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of the broth, but be careful because it's hot. And then I'm just going to put a lid on that so it can steam, and then I'll just keep checking that. Back over to our other ones as we flip. You can see I don't know if you can see they're starting to brown a little bit. And you want to let them sit a bit so they can get a little bit brown for sure. And I don't want them to burn, so usually what I do when they start browning, they're kind of getting to that phase right now. When they're, you got a little bit of color on them, then which it's starting to, then I add the broth to it. And you don't want to add too much because you don't want it like swimming in it so it boils in it. You just want it to keep it from burning. And then I'll just give it another second here. Yes, that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now for this side, I'm going to add in some broth as well. So just enough, just a little bit. And then for this one, I'm going to add some spices to it. All right, I have some garlic powder I'm going to add in. We always use garlic powder, so just sprinkle on some garlic powder. I've got a little bit of paprika here. A little bit of pepper, and I'm not a big pepper fan, so I'm not going to put too much pepper. And then a little bit of salt as well. Let me get the salt. So a little bit of salt. And stir it up. And for this one I don't cover it. I think you could, but I like to just let it saute here. And then I just kind of let it keep going And as it starts to get, you see the water evaporate, or the liquid, I just keep adding liquid until they get soft. And you can decide if you like your Brussels sprouts firm, you like them really soft. It's up to you which you like. So for me, it usually takes, because my family likes them soft, so it usually takes about 15 minutes to do the whole process. And we just keep adding the water. Now turning to the other one, you can see they're starting to get brown. I'm going to add a little bit more water, or they're starting to get green, that bright green color, which means they're getting cooked. I'm just going to add a little more water to that so it doesn't burn. And then let it go. I'm just going to test it. So they're still firm, but you want to wait when they are soft. I put the lid back on. Beautiful. And just let it cook. Hopefully you're not getting dizzy as I go over to my other pan here. Or anxious or anything like that. So this pan is, so I just let it, and now the liquid runs out a little bit. So I just add a little bit more. But you don't want to over add. And this is how you make it with love, by the way, is you just add a little bit at a time and baby it. You should see when my mom comes. Oh my gosh, she's really good at adding love to the food. And that's why her food always tastes so good. All right, so we'll just let that simmer. And when they're ready, we'll be able to finish those off. It's like watching water boil now, right? What did they say? A watch pot never boils. So we're going to do Brussels sprouts one more way. We'll see in a minute. A little surprise way. That's beautiful. All right. And Brussels sprouts are in the cruciferous vegetable family. Anybody know what other vegetables are in the cruciferous family? This is a test.
Broccoli,
yep. Cauliflower. Yep. And
artichokes.
Artichokes, yeah. I don't use artichokes. Do you use artichokes, Helene?
Yes, I like them.
Yeah.
Hearts of palms. Palm hearts.
Palm hearts. And bok choy, cabbage. Oh, so many cruciferous vegetables. They are really great for detox. And they are considered to be like a cancer.
Anti-cancer.
I hate to use the word fighting, but they're really good cancer preventative food. Any cruciferous vegetables. And this looks pretty good now. So I'm just going to turn the heat off on this one. It looks good. And then I can just let those kind of stay warm here for a few minutes. Turning it back to the other one. Here, I don't want to get... It's still steaming. So when this runs out, it should be pretty good. They're getting soft now. Some of the smaller ones will be soft. And again, it's really up to you. See, they're coming off the leaves now. It's up to you how you like them. If you want them kind of softer or on the crisp side. So we'll just let that go for a few minutes. And we can start talking about, hey, Deborah, nice to see you. Cosmic, Shanti, nice to see you as well. Rinthia. All right, let me move to my... So you can
Radish
see.
and turnips. Horseradish.
There's lots of different...
There's also cruciferous vegetables.
Oh, are you looking it up online, Helene?
Yes.
All All right. There are lots of them. So these are really great for anti-cancer vegetables, I think is what people have called them. They're also great detox vegetables. But they all have, they kind of get that, if you overcook them or don't cook them the right way, you can get that sulfur smell in a lot of them. Like the Brussels sprouts. I think Brussels sprouts are the most famous for that smell. All right. So I'm going to turn off the Brussels sprouts and let them continue to steam without the heat for a few minutes. And while we're doing that, we're going to move to our third way of doing our Brussels sprouts. And that is, we're going to put them in a coleslaw. So not everybody does this, but you can actually take your Brussels sprouts and have them raw. So what I've done is I've shredded some Brussels sprouts here. So I just shredded them, and I've got some shredded cabbage here. So I shredded some green cabbage and red cabbage, great cruciferous vegetables as well. That wasn't on purpose. To make a nice coleslaw, I can add in some of this, it looks like frisee. It's so cool. So add in that. Now, you can slice the Brussels sprouts using your knife and just kind of slice them thinly. Or what I did this time is I used my mandolin. It took me a long time to use the mandolin because I was really afraid of the blade, I have to say. So this is my mandolin that I have. And what I do for the Brussels sprouts is I've got this guard and it's got spikes on the end. I put the Brussels sprout on the spikes. And then let me get my bowl here, because I don't want to go move things around. So I just take this and then put this down and then just run it back and forth. So it messed up. But you have to be very careful about, there goes that Brussels sprout. Aline, there's no dogs here for it either. They're outside. So I'm going to just be very, very careful with your fingers. So I just started to get it flat. Probably could cut it. All right, we're live. Ranthia, we have to get that on tape. Do a little blooper on that for sure. Brussels sprouts rolling all over the place. Yay! The dogs will like that when they come in. All right, so now I think I got it. Yeah, and you just shred it this way. And it took me a long time to really be comfortable to do this I was really afraid of the blades. These blades are very, very sharp. Yeah, don't take it too lightly, boy. It works really fast. And so you could shred your cabbage that way, and good old-fashioned shred it with a knife is also great. Get a little more frisee here. I'll add in here. All right, so we're going to just take this salad here that we've made, and we're going to add a little bit I shredded some carrots. So I have a grater for that. I just grated them up using actually the grater I used. I bought, somehow or another, we got this one for free. This is a mandolin as well. And it has the guard that comes with it. I don't like it. The one I have that I showed you is a better quality one. But I like this grater, so I keep it for this grater. So I can just grate the carrots using that. So I grated my shredded cabbage, grated up some carrots. You can buy things already shredded and grated in the store if you don't want to do that yourself. And I'm going to add a little bit of onion. So you could use red onion. I have some green onion. And we're going to make a couple of dressings that can go with it. I thought Asian-inspired dressing would be nice. I'm going to add a little bit of green onion. And we're going to do an Asian-inspired dressing. So let me get this one I want to make sure I get all the ingredients. So let me go to my recipe. here. Okay. Okay, let's go. There it is. Sorry, ladies. Take a little time here. All right. So I have two different dressings. One that's they're both easy. You don't have to do any like blending or anything. You can just make them. So I've got a creamy lime miso dressing. So that one, I have about a 1/4 cup of cashew butter. So this cashew butter, I'll add it here. It's pretty sticky. I just bought it at the store, cashew butter, just like that. So I got mine at Farm Boy, which is an Ontario, Canada store, but you can buy it pretty much at any section, like natural food section will have that. I've got adding 2 tablespoons of lime juice here to that. Got my lime juice. And I've got some maple syrup. Always need some sweetness. I never thought about that, but to balance off the acid, you want to make sure you add something sweet. And so usually I do maple syrup when I'm doing dressings to add the sweet. So this is an oil-free dressing. I've got that. I'm going to add some garlic. So I've got going to add about a clove of garlic. I've grated up couple of cloves of garlic here. Oh, so much garlic smell. If you could smell through, woof, lots of real powerful garlic there. And you want to let your garlic grate it and let it sit for about 10 minutes before you use it, because the enzymes in the garlic, when you cut the garlic or you grate it, they start forming, and that's where we get our antimicrobial properties. It's in the allicin enzyme, so we want to make sure that we let it sit for about 10 minutes after we grate it to get the best benefit. And as soon as you start mixing it with other foods, then it loses that. So I used to think, I learned that if I was blending it in like a dressing where I was putting it in my blender, it was okay just to put it in whole. But you want to chop it and let it rest for 10 minutes even before you put it with any other foods. So that's a good tip for you. We're going to add a little bit of miso to this. So I'm going to do, this is optional. Now miso is a fermented food. So I got about a teaspoon here. Miso is fermented food. So this is really good for your gut health. The miso is. It's quite salty. This one is an organic white miso. You get it in the refrigerator section. Usually it's either by the produce or with the natural organic foods. It's usually where I find it. I don't find it at every store, but you can find an organic white miso. It's made from soybean. You can also buy miso that's chickpea miso if you don't want to use soybeans. I have a hard time finding that in the grocery store, but I can buy it online. So I have bought it online before. And I'm going to probably add a little bit of water and a little bit of ginger. So I have some, where's my fresh ginger that I have? Right in front of me, of course. So just going to grate this, a little bit of this ginger up. Okay. Now, for cleaning ginger, one of the ways you can do it is just take a spoon and use the spoon on it, and that will help to clean it and take the skin off. That's easier than cutting it. And I'm not going to use a lot because I'm myself personally not a big ginger fan, definitely, but I'll use a little bit. You can use a little bit of powdered ginger too if you have that. I just have this one here, a little bit. I can really smell the ginger smell. And I'm just going to put a little bit, grate a little bit into here. So you could do however much you like. I just have a fine grater that I'm using here. Just going to add a little bit, not a lot, because I'm not a ginger fan. But help yourself if you're if you like ginger. It's a great, I mean, ginger is great. It's really great for your digestion. It's a superfood. So, you know, if you like it, definitely put more in. All right. And I'm just a little bit of water here. I'm going to start with a tablespoon of water, and then I'll add as I need. I'm just going to blend this up. And what I can smell is garlic and ginger. Ooh, it's good. All right. And what I did, so I have my cashew butter in the fridge. You should store any nuts or nut butters in the fridge because the nuts go rancid very quickly. Same with seeds. So I always store them in the fridge. So what I did is I took my cashew butter out a little bit early so I could let it cool or warm up so it's easier to blend. And so this one's pretty thick. I think I'll add a little bit more water to it. Another tablespoon. Voila! Looks good. All right, now it looks pretty good. And so the cashew butter adds the fat, which is where you need a fat on your dressings to allow that to stick to the food, to the coleslaw. Otherwise, the liquid just goes through and ends up at the bottom, which is not fun. So I'm just going to add some dressing to the top of this. And then I can mix it up. And we have a little Asian salad with Brussels sprouts in it. So this is another way to get your Brussels sprouts in there. And you can add as much or as little dressing as you'd like. I know in my family, I like dressings. My daughter is not so fond of them, so I kind of go in the middle. And there you have an Asian slaw with a little bit of Brussels sprouts in it. I will do one more dressing. But let's see where our Brussels sprouts are at. Yum. I think they're done. Yeah, they're done because you don't want them to get overdone. This one, I let them sit a little longer than I'd like, but that's okay. They still should be good. All right, I've got a few, these ones are pretty soft. Probably if I was not doing this class, I would have taken them out a little earlier. And so for this one, you can eat them the way they are. You can season them. Here's a nice little thing, is to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar to them. So I'm just going to add a drizzle of balsamic vinegar. This one has a nice little drizzle thing. Add some of that. And I like to add my sweet to it as well. So I have some maple syrup. I'm going to use a spoon to add the maple syrup because I don't want it to just pour out of the container and poof, it's done. I put too much because you don't want too much, just a little drizzle of that. And there is one way that you can have your Brussels sprouts. We also have the ones that I cooked here. I'll put them on the pan. They're nice and brown and just sauteed and soft. That one, they've already been seasoned, so I would eat them just like that. Voila! We have cooked Brussels sprouts. Yum. A little bit of the sauteed ones. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite is the sauteed ones. This is our family go-to, the sauteed ones, when we do Brussels sprouts. So yum, yum, yum. Always look forward to my lunch on Fridays. Okay. Now, one more dressing. This one is a lime garlic dressing. I'm going to use flax oil for the oil. So this is more like of a supplement. You buy this in the refrigerator section at the health food store or in the grocery store if they have a health food section. So I'm going to start with a couple of tablespoons of lime juice. I'm just going to put it into this jar. I can use as much as I want and then leave the rest for later. Add a tablespoon of maple syrup. Here, yum. We're going to add a couple of tablespoons of the flax oil. You can do 1 to 2 tablespoons. Depends on what you want. I'll do 1 to start. You can always add more. Add that in. Can add a little bit of the water here. Maybe I'll do just 1 tablespoon of water here. Beautiful. And I've got garlic again. So we're going to add the rest of this garlic here. Oh, that garlic is garlic. Whew. Can add a little bit of ginger to it. These are Asian inspired, so just a touch of garlic again. Yeah, I'm just going to put a touch of garlic or ginger here. You put what you want. And a little bit of tamari sauce. So the tamari sauce gives it that umami flavor. So just a touch, maybe a couple of 1 to 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to put kind of 1.5 in here. There we go. And pretty much all you could do is stir this up or shake it up. I have lids for these, so I would put the lid on and shake it up. And this will give you another kind of an oil-based dressing that you can use to make your coleslaw. So let me get my other thing of coleslaw. I'm going to add in my Brussels sprouts to it. Add in my carrots. Might as well add them all in. Little bit of green onion, or you could use red onion. And then add in my dressing here. As much as you want or as little. Shake it up. And we have another version of our toss it up. And there's a couple of different coleslaws with a little bit of Brussels sprouts in them. So add that extra boost. All right, yum. Now I'm gonna get you the recipe and then we'll see if there's any questions. Let me do my hands a little bit here. All right. And I also want to just let you know that I am moving to a new platform and my emails are going to start coming from freedomthriveher.com, but they're also coming from a new platform, so watch out for that. Yeah, the garlic, that's a great thing. Okay, so if you wanted to cut your garlic in batches, what I've done before is freeze it and then just take into like one garlic clove worth of in each little frozen bundle. And you will lose some of the property, but it's still pretty good. That's how I would do it, is cut it up and then put it in the freezer and use it when you need it. I've done that before. I've cut up a whole bunch of garlic and put it in my food processor, and then that grates it all up, and then put it into a mold and freeze it, and then just bring out the pieces as I need them. So that's one way if you want to have like quick and not have to be dealing with garlic a lot. Good question. I love that. Otherwise, I would suggest you just do one at a time or when you're using them. Great question though, Deborah. I love it. All right. Any other questions? Or anything else? All right. Let me try my salads here.
So I got to tell you, Debbie, I'm so pleased that you said that you were scared of the mandolin too. I bought one at Costco because one of my friends, I went to dinner at her house and she had this beautiful salad and everything looked so lovely. And she said, get a mandolin. So when Costco had them on sale, I got one. And then when I unpacked it, I looked at it and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to kill myself on this. So I brought it back.
I really had a hard time. It took me a long time. It sat in my cupboard for a long time before I brought it out again. Yeah.
I have a funny thought that came to me about the mandolin, though.
What did you have? A funny thought.
They do sell some kind of safety glove, right? That would stop you from getting cut. Maybe that would be the solution because I get it. I get scared too, but that just came to me. There's some kind of metal
Yeah,
or
it's a metal
blade
glove.
avoidant glove. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I've
that's a good
seen them
idea.
use that in on like cooking shows,
Okay. See,
but
just thought I'd throw it
Mhm.
out there. Just came to me and I was like, how about we just protect our hand, period?
I've never used one. I think I would still be scared.
You have to try it. You'd have to try it to trust it, but I'm excited to try your slaws on my family vacation this year.
I like the one with the cashew butter best. That'll be the first one I use. Yum. Okay. Yeah, don't tell them there's Brussels sprouts in it. They'll never know. They're both different, good, but I like that one. I like the creaminess. I think for a slaw, I like creamy.